Did you know that Luffy is based on the Monkey King Sun Wukong? Now before I tell you just who the Monkey King Sun Wukong really was, let me point out the obvious so you believe me on this, okay? Monkey in the name, obvious. Luffy, stretching. Monkey King has a staff that stretches, obvious. Monkey King is a glutton, eats everything, is adventurous, causes havoc everywhere. Luffy obviously does all of that too. The Monkey King ate a forbidden fruit that gave him powers. Luffy ate a forbidden fruit that gave him powers. The Monkey King journeys to the west. Luffy starts in the East Blue and journeys westward. So there's a lot of similarities there. Okay, it's so obvious. But who was the Monkey King Sun Wukong really? He is not actually the main character in Journey to the West, though a lot of people think that. The main character in Journey to the West is actually the monk Tang San Zhang. I probably said that name wrong. But the Monkey King is the most notable of his companions. Other companions include a very strong demon. You might remember that Zoro is often referred to as a demon. And also another demonic companion who has an insane appetite and love for women. Sanji comes to mind. And this group of companions makes up the main characters of Journey to the West, a story from 16th century China about this group of companions trying to reach Buddha to get the scrolls of enlightenment. But who is Sun Wukong? Before he joined this jolly fellowship, Sun Wukong was born out of a rock. And on his island, which was inhabited in part by dragons. Who is Luffy's dad again? There are a lot of monkeys, and the Monkey King, as you might guess by what I keep referring to him as, becomes the king of these monkeys for being the only one daring enough to jump through a waterfall. Then he rules as the king of monkeys for a couple of years, but he becomes very bored and mostly he becomes terrified of the concept of death and he wants to become invincible. So he seeks out a teacher, finds one, and that Buddhist teacher teaches him how to be invincible and also how to shapeshift in 72 different animals. And the Monkey King becomes very strong, finds that he needs a weapon too, meets the Dragon King and gets his staff, which is originally a pillar that I think weighed 9 tons, but that was the only weapon heavy enough for the strong Monkey King to wield, and then he shrinks it down and just, shape-shifts it as he sees fit, and that becomes his trusted weapon, the staff that you also know from Dragon Ball. But all in all, Sun Wukong doesn't really use his powers for any greater good. He uses them to be absolutely free, and being absolutely free to him means doing whatever the hell he wants. So even on his way to the Dragon King, he pissed off a whole lot of deities and a whole lot of supernatural beings, and even when he got the 9-ton staff from the Dragon King afterwards, because he was still a butt-naked monkey, he was like, yo king, hook me up with some nice gear, I want to look fly. And the Dragon King wasn't really about that, but the Monkey King was so annoying that they agreed on giving him also magical gear, and then he just left with the pillar, the staff, and the gear, and didn't even say thank you. So the Dragon King was mighty pissed off. And then once when the Monkey King, in his dream, was taken to hell by the god of hell, he wreaked all kinds of havoc to get the hell out of hell, which understandably so. But still it pissed people off because, as you can see, there's a theme. Anytime the Monkey King doesn't get what he wants, anytime somebody pisses him off, he beats them up because he's so strong that nobody can stand in his way. So the heavens, the gods in the heavens, they got a lot of complaints filed on the Monkey King, and they somehow had to deal with him. And they were like, yo, let's kill this guy. So then they tried to kill him with electricity, with thunder, who was the first god that Monkey D. Luffy fights again? Enlighten me what his power was. I see a parallel here. And then they tried to kill him with fire. And tell me again about that Marine Admiral and his power. And next they tried to just disintegrate him. And again, Blackbeard, darkness, isn't that kind of disintegrating people? I don't know, maybe I'm reaching, but I see some parallels here. But it all fails, and the heavens cannot kill the Monkey King because he learned the ways of invincibility, because he is such a capable fighter, because he's so strong. So then the heavens are like, all right, if we can't kill him, then he's going to join us. And they offer him a job up in the heavens. Specifically, they tell him to watch the garden of the invincible fruits. Invincible fruits? Fruits that give you power? Where have I heard this one before? I'm just not sure. Specifically, the invincible fruits are peaches, but the Monkey King is a glutton. Again, a parallel, it's too on the nose, man. Luffy, glutton. Monkey King is a glutton, he eats everything you put in front of him, and he eats all the peaches in the garden. So once again, everybody is super pissed off at the Monkey King, and it's reaching a boiling point. So the heavens, what do? When he's back down in his Monkey Kingdom, they sent the heavenly army after him to defeat him once and for all. But the Monkey King is so powerful that him and his monkey army defeat the heavenly army, and the heavens are at a loss for words, at a loss for everything. How do we deal with Sun Wukong? He's more than a handful, and Buddha says, a handful? Wait a goddamn minute. He can say that because he's a god. And he has a challenge for the Monkey King. He's like, yo, I hear you like challenges, dog. I hear you can't turn them down. And much like Luffy, Sun Wukong has to, every challenge he gets, he has to prove that he can do it. So Buddha is like, I bet you can't leave my palm, yo. And the Monkey King is like, leave this palm? No sweat, bro. He jumps in this palm, all Buddha, and jumps off the palm, all Buddha, up into the skies, and he jumps so high that he sees 5 pillars, and he's like, these must be important, these must be like the pillars of the world or something, and he's so astounded that he leaves his mark on one of the pillars. And when he jumps back down, back into Buddha's palm, he's like, yo bro, no sweat, easy. Buddha's like, I don't think you ever left my palm, bro. Opens his palm, and on the middle finger, the Monkey King sees the inscription he left on that pillar. He never left the palm of Buddha because he's the Almighty, and everything is literally him. So then the Monkey King is trapped by Buddha in his palm, and Buddha imprisons him under a mountain for 500 years so the Monkey King can think about who he wants to be in life. Tells him, yo, in 500 years time, there's going to be a monk that's going to lift this golden seal at the top of the mountain and is going to free you, and you're going to accompany him on his journey. Ding, 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 to whoever gets this right. That's the journey to the west. And the monk in question is Tang San Zhang, who 500 years later starts his journey to the west to get the Buddhist scrolls which will help his people at home reach enlightenment because they have lost their way. Tang San Zhang comes across Sun Wukong, and Sun Wukong is like, yo, you're that monk that's supposed to help me. I'm supposed to accompany you on your journey. Monk's like, how can I get you out of this mountain? That seems pretty heavy. Monkey King's like, yo, there's a tag at the top of the mountain. Can you peel that off real quick? The monk does so, and Sun Wukong is freed and accompanies him on his journey. Now, of course, Tang San Zhang could never control someone as powerful as the Monkey King, because also Sun Wukong, as I just told you, 500 years prior, raised all kinds of havoc and is literally the definition of out of control. So what does Tang San Zhang do? He puts a headband on Sun Wukong that has a magical incantation. And when Tang San Zhang says that incantation, the headband shrinks and causes agonizing headaches to Sun Wukong, headaches that even render someone as powerful as the Monkey King useless. Now, if you think about One Piece, that's very reminiscent of the collars and the cuffs that the celestial dragons and others put on very powerful characters to render them powerless. So then Tang San Zhang and Sun Wukong, with his new fancy headband, set off on the journey, and they are joined by the 2 demonic associates I mentioned in the beginning, and also a white dragon which turns into a white horse that they can ride on. That journey goes on for like 15 years, and over these 15 years they had the wildest, most fantastical adventures that included dragons, that included shapeshifters, essentially a lot of the fantasy stuff that's in One Piece where you're like, oh, this is so creative, it's out of this world. That's a lot of the stuff that they encountered on that journey. And after 15 years of journeying, they finally get to Buddha, and Sun Wukong is like, yo, not cool what you did to me, trapping me under that mountain for 500 years, not cool at all. And Tang San Zhang is like, never mind him, you got these scrolls real quick, because these people back home, they're acting all crazy, and these scrolls are meant to enlighten them, what's up? And Buddha's like, here are your scrolls. But they're empty at first, because the journey was the goal. But the 5 companions are like, yo, we can't go back home with these empty scrolls. So then Buddha's like, yo, these were just for you, to show you that you didn't need anything at the end of the journey, because you're special now, and when you come back here, I have a surprise for you. But for now, take these real scrolls, take them back home. So the group takes the scrolls back home, everybody gets all enlightened, and they go back to Buddha, and he's like, for your journey, for everything you've done, I'm gonna make you 2 Buddhas. So Sun Wukong and Tang San Zhang are turned into Buddhas. Tang San Zhang earns the title of Sandalwood Merit Buddha, and Sun Wukong earns the title of Victorious Fighting Buddha. And that wraps up the journey to the West as a whole. Now, what other comparison here, what other parallel can we draw to One Piece? A lot of people think that the One Piece is not going to be monetary. It's not going to be the most special devil fruit or anything tangible. A lot of people assume that it could be freedom, that it could be enlightenment, which of course would again drive home the parallels to the journey to the West, where the scrolls were originally empty and where the end reward was the enlightenment that they are granted the titles of Buddha. Of course, that's just speculation, but I think it's beyond obvious that One Piece drew a lot of inspiration from Journey to the West, and that Luffy is based on Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.